Ferrari has just announced the 12Cilindri Manuale. It's a latest limited production model featuring an Enzo-derived V12 and, I kid you not, a 6-speed manual gated shifter. Is this what the Ferrari enthusiasts have been asking for years, or is this just an excuse trying to hide the disastrous launch of Ferrari Luce? Let's find out. My name is Dom.
And my name is Grex.
And you are watching the Gran Turismo show. Roll the intro. Let's dive right into the press announcement. So the 12Cilindri Manuale is a limited production 1500 unit model starting at 600,000 euros, and deliveries are starting Q1 next year. It has a very well known Enzo derived V12 with 820 horsepower revving to the crazy 9,500 RPMs. Compared to the original 12Cilindri, it's almost twice the price. For the newest, what Ferrari is calling manual by wire. So if you have been duped by Ferrari like everyone else thinking that this is a gated 6-speed manual, well, it is not. It's a fake one. So the first question I'm going to pose here, can we call this even a manual?
Well, first and foremost, I want to say that it is a step in the right direction. But to be honest, with Luce, by the way, Luce, and everything that happened around it, I want to say that everything that happens now, it seems like a step in a good direction. I know that what they have done with the 12Cilindri manual, it makes more sense. Limited edition car using already available automatic transmission, minimal R&D, lower costs, no risks. But yeah, you bumped up the car price a really long way from the standard model, and probably it will sell. But yeah, it's Ferrari. You expect something more. You expect something more than just a fake manual. So yeah, that's a topic to be discussed.
Yeah, you mentioned the R&D and basically the budget for the production of this car. Ferrari says they have been working on this system for 4 years. So this hasn't been an afterthought. They have been working on this fake manual system for 4 years, which begs the question, could have they just spent the 4 years creating a new 6-speed manual?
Yeah, for me that stings as just a PR statement. I don't think that 4 years is something that you would take to develop something like this.
That it all depends how it feels to me, and if it's actually a good simulation, I don't necessarily hate it. I see this as being a sort of a hybrid vehicle where, okay, you want the engagement, you want the emotion, you go into the manual H pattern mode or whatever they call it, and you use it on a back road, you do the heel and toe, you do the rev matching, you enjoy that experience of driving a manual car. But for instance, you are stuck in a traffic or, you just want a nice highway cruise, you pop it back in the auto and enjoy the super smooth dual clutch gearbox. Ferrari says they have tried very hard to mimic the actual feel of the clutch and the gated 6-speed shifter to bring that iconic click-clack sound from switching the gears. The clutch pedal has around 10 to 15 kilos of force, which supposedly is enough to mimic that progressive feeling of the clutch pedal. What I think is absolutely bizarre is that this 6-speed gated shifter is connected to an 8-speed DCT, which means that using the manual shifter, you can't use the final 2 gears. The announcement from the information I could find on the internet, the final 2 gears in the auto mode are sort of reserved for highway cruising. So maybe they slightly changed the gearing of the first 6 to cover a broader range, possibly up to, let's say, 300 kilometers. And, well, let's be honest, most people are not going to drive that car that fast to even reach those gears. So maybe, playing devil's advocate here, maybe it's not a problem for most people.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. I feel like this 1500 models of this special edition will sell out, but yeah, this is something that should be available for the entry models, and that would be a standard option. Uh, for me, this manual automatic option in a like special edition car, it's not really yeah, it doesn't make sense. Okay, it will sell out because we
Of
are
course,
comparing
it will sell out.
it to Luce and all of the story around that. So this is something way much desirable. But again, I think there is a space for a Ferrari to exploit with really providing the real feel, the real deal, which we would expect from the Ferrari as it is the most prestigious, most expensive, and most yeah, accomplished car of our time. We would expect from them something like that. So I think they should switch, or they could provide something in a space that it is really a real deal, not this manual per se manual, and still end up in a profit, or yeah, in a favorable position, as you would say. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they're sort of straying away from the manual or from the idea of manual. The last manual front engine V12 car was the 599, which stopped production in 2012, replaced by the F12, which only came with the dual clutch gearbox. And then on the V8 side, the last manual Ferrari was the F430. And interestingly enough, the manual F430 sold in fewer cars than the F430 Scuderia, which is the limited edition of that specific car. So did they take the wrong conclusion out of that by saying that customers only want performance, they want the automatic, they want the best and fastest, compared to the actual enthusiast that want the feeling, they want the connection and the emotion that they can get from a manual gearbox?
I feel like that there's a portion of the customers that just wanna feel that they drive fast. So if it is manual, if it is automatic, whatever. If it is automatic, even better. They're going faster. But for these special edition cars, I think that there is a market space uh, for the people who like the old school things, that appreciate the actual manual gearbox, actual manual connection, actual connection to the car, to the chassis, to the everything. So that they can experience the car in its full aspect. So for me, I think Ferrari is, let's be honest, Ferrari is the most successful car company there is. So they can afford such a risk to provide a car for the really niche customers that wants the real deal, real thing, and real manual transmission. And the cost to do that is not, I would say, that much.
Another
So
possible reason why they are straying away from manuals might be a mechanical one. So we have heard from BMW engineers that their manual gearbox that is being used in the M2, M3, and M4 manual cars can only handle about 550 newton meters of torque. Now, We've talked about Ferrari spending 4 years on basically creating this new manual by wire system. Is there opportunity or sort of engineering space to create a new manual that can survive the crazy power output of the latest engines?
Yeah, from my point of view, there is definitely a chance to do that, especially for Ferrari, because Ferrari is the most uh, most priced brand in the automotive industry, and they can afford to make such a decision to let's say develop a manual for this car. Uh, BMW is probably in a different situation, and they are cutting costs and everything, and they're not thinking about that. But especially Ferrari, they can do that. And personally, I think there is a space to do that. Uh, because I think that ultra wealthy, which are going to buy these cars, are willing to spend extra amount of money for something that's real, that's something that is, let's say, natural, something that resembles the car from the 20, 30 years ago, uh, which I would say would not be the case for the car that just fakes that feeling, just fakes the emotion of being manual, but it's not really manual. Why would you spend? So we've said that the standard model of 12Cilindri is $400,000, and this manual model is $600,000. Uh, what for exactly do you spend $200,000 exactly if it is not a manual real thing exactly? So I would say that especially Ferrari is in that position to exploit that thing because they're most valued car company in the world. So yeah.
The thing that really confuses me about this launch is something you just said. It's basically the pricing and the premium that you're paying for the same exact car with slightly different trim options, slightly different wheels. You're getting the Ferrari crest in some sort of anodized aluminum look, and that's about it. The actual car is 5 kilos heavier because of the manual stick. There's nothing else that's special or unique about this car, and pricing it at almost 600,000, and I think that's pre-tax, so plus tax. And if you take it to the Ferrari tailor-made program, which of course you will, you might end up to 900,000 euros, and then no one's gonna buy this from the enthusiast because it's just too expensive. And for that amount of money, you can buy all sorts of fun cars, like you said, from 10, 20 years ago that will give you that manual experience. So I'm not sure why they necessarily took this Porsche way of creating a limited edition run, because most of these cars will end up in a air climatized garage, and they're not going to be driven because people will be trying to sell them for twice the money in the next 5 years.
Yeah, with everything said, I agree that I think that this car will sell. So all 1,500 of the examples that will sell will be probably sold out because let's say we are comparing it to Luce. Uh, the atmosphere and the press feeling that Luce has set up, uh, we were really let down by it. So even this fake manual uh, will satisfy us and will satisfy the customers. I'm sure that all of them will sell out because who wouldn't want to have 12Cilindri, 12-cylinder V12, singing in a manual transmission. So I'm aware of that, but still, it has a brand of this current time that we are getting to that point. Uh, let's say a little bit like through some shortcuts and through this manual transmission, through the manual clutch. Why not then build the real thing? I think that the people who buy that car would appreciate the real thing, even if it is a little bit more priced. But having this price in mind, I think even this is priced at the highest most point. So yeah.
Yeah, and basically that price is going to price it out of, let's say, rich enthusiast, because if you have 300,000 to 400,000 euros to spend, you're not going to buy this, and let alone you're not going to be invited to buy it, because from what I read here, this model will be only limited to the exclusive customers. So basically customers that already have a plethora of Ferrari limited edition models that they have been collecting over the years. So for them, that this will be just another one in their collection. The Porsche Special Edition cars have been selling fantastically, and they have been retaining value greatly as well. So is Ferrari thinking that they want to try at least to maintain the value of their cars after they sell them? If we sort of look back through the past of the last few years and we look at the SF90 market, we look at the Puro Sangue, and let's say the 12Cilindri, they're not an easy sell and their values are tanking. So cars can lose 20 to 30% of their value in the first few years, which is unusual for a Ferrari.
Yeah, I mean, for me, this this makes sense in a standard model. Let's say that this manual was available for a standard model, for a standard 12 cylinder. That would really make sense. So people who wanna, let's say, manual experience, they can use it, and uh, but this for the let's say special edition car doesn't really make sense. I mean, as I said, it will sell. Definitely, it will sell. But maybe, okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's a test bed for the future. So in the future, they will make this fake manual option as a standard option for the regular cars. So because in that case, it makes more sense. Uh, in some kind of special edition cars, you mentioned the Porsche. I don't know if this holds up because all of the Porsches are, if they advertise manual, they are real manual, and whatever they advertise, they do accomplish. So this car seems like a gimmick in that sense.
Interesting that you mentioned special editions, because next year it's Ferrari's 80th anniversary. So 2027 will probably be the production year of a new Icona series car, possibly an SP4. If we take into account that the current Formula One team is doing pretty good, and we saw Lewis and Charles both winning races, there might be a cross tie with Lewis and the Icona series, and they might call it the SP44, which would be a some sort of tribute to the beloved F40 from the past. That's the rumor mill that has been going around for a while, and this gearbox might be the perfect choice for that car because it sort of fits the manual nature of the F40.
Yeah, I mean, they might exploit that, and yeah, it would be dumb from them not to exploit that, having the current F1 form in mind. Uh, but still, yeah, I would expect for Ferrari to be the real deal, real thing. Manual gearbox as it is, uh, there is a space for that. They can afford that, and I think for me there is no question that they can do that. Uh, this thing, manual or fake manual, automatic manual, whatever you want to call that, there is a space for that. You can make that like an option for the regular cars, but as a special edition car, just only for that, not really.
Yeah, that's something I would love to see an option basically on 12Cilindri or the 296. Just if you want the manual, the fake manual, whatever you want to call it, just put it in as an option. You have to pay the premium for it. Put it as an expensive option if you want to make money out of it, but give us the option to use it outside of this limited edition program. So there is another rumor that there is a so we have the 296 and the 296 Speciale now. There is a third model on the way that it's going to be called the 296 Corsa Stradale, which basically means that they will take the racing car with the big spoiler, they will remove the hybrid element, and they will make it road legal. That's an interesting car that could have a manual system like this because of the simplification of the drivetrain. They removed the hybrid system that no one really asked for. So, in terms, they made the car more pure.
My question for you: would you buy that car?
So, if I had the money to purchase a 296 non-hybrid version with a simulated gated manual for, let's say, 400,000 to 500,000 euros, my answer would be no. Unfortunately, there are so many other cars on the list that are 10 to 15 years old that will give you a much better run for that money. So, a converted Lamborghini Murcielago with a manual transmission will cost you around 3 to 400,000 euros. If you want a 599 with the manual gearbox, I think you can get used ones for $500,000. So if you want that experience, there are real cars, not just new ones.
Yeah, for me also, if I want to do 296, I would buy the automatic one rather than the fake manual one.
What I'm interested in is Ferrari trying to fix their disastrous PR nightmare that the Lucha was with this new fake manual? We talked earlier about how they developed this new system for 4 years, and then now accidentally they are showcasing it just a few weeks after they introduced the Luce. Are they trying to fix the public perception and the idea of what Ferrari means to people with this new edition?
Yeah, I don't think they're trying to fix anything. I think that's this special edition car is a normal thing in their pipeline. So yeah, the Luce was a disaster. Let's not pamper that. But yeah, everything after that seems like a improvement. Even this manual car seems like an improvement on Luce. So I guess that seems in that constellation of things, that seems like a okay and logical decision. Uh, as I've said, this car probably will sell, and I don't see a reason why it won't sell, even if it is 1,500 examples. I think all of that will sell because it's a 12 Cilindri, it's a special car, it's a 12-cylinder Ferrari, and these ones are desirable. But still, coming after Luce, it seems like a patch job. It seems like a mm, not really committed thing. It seems like premeditated thing. So that they will release this to see if it is viable at any cost. So I think in the future we will see something like this in the regular models, and for me that would be more appropriate than in the limited edition car, like the 12Cilindri Manuale.
Yeah, and then sort of begs a more wider question about the car industry in its own. Is this the future of manuals? We have seen a very similar system from Koenigsegg in their CC850. It's basically the Koenigsegg Lightspeed transmission connected to a H pattern, same thing as the Ferrari. We have seen a patent coming from Porsche with a very similar system, except that one didn't have a clutch pedal, so it was just an H pattern shifter. A lot of electric cars have been meddling with the idea of manual shifts, even though that's slightly a different subject. Is this the future of what a manual car will be? Basically, an 8-speed transmission connected to some simulation equipment.
Yeah, for me that depends on what a certain car manufacturer is willing to do. So, in case of Koenigsegg and this kind of cars, it makes sense. They're very limited production cars, and they can afford to make such a risk to produce such a manual. You previously mentioned the BMW. For them, I don't know. I don't really think for them. I don't think it makes sense to produce a to R&D to produce the manual transmission just to provide that for the let's say M3 manual or something, some version of M3, M4, or whatever car. But still, I think for Ferrari it might make sense because they have they're in position to make that sacrifice and to make up the costs that so of course manual gearbox really wasn't in the center of the development for the last 10-15 years, but if we focus on that now, if we invest some R&D, some money into that, I think still it can produce some benefit, and it can be a valuable investment for Ferrari. Not I'm not going to say for every brand of the car manufacturers, but for Ferrari, I think it would be the valuable investment.
Yeah, I think you mentioned BLW there. I think the current generation of the M2, M3, and M4 will be the last one to have a manual option. So I think the ship has sailed on that one. The sales are just not they're just not good enough to warrant a manual model and all the things that you sort of have to live with in a manual. Reduced power, reduced torque. It's an engineering inconvenience at this point. And something the GM boss said about the Corvette C8, basically the C7 manuals were not selling enough, and then for the next generation they just scrapped the whole manual part and every car is a DCT. So I think the future is mostly automatic because people are not buying it. And if what sort of annoys me is if you go online, if you read all these, Instagram and Reddit, YouTube places where people talk about cars, everyone is talking about, oh, I love the manuals, they're so fantastic, bring back the manual. You have this perception that everyone would want to buy a manual, that everyone is a car enthusiast. But when it push comes to shove and people actually buy their cars, no one's buying the manuals. So of course the companies are not going to produce the manuals, and then it's the negative loop spiral where not enough sales doesn't generate not enough interest, and it just spirals all the way down where we basically are now.
Yeah, I think the difference is what you're talking about. So the customers who will drive their cars and the customers who will buy their cars just to have them to increase the value of them and to gain money on them. The real enthusiasts or the collectors, I would say, for them, I think the manual car would be the perfect disposition to have the manual car to you can advertise it as bespoke, fully manual, fully in touch with the driver, and for them to have that car and to sit in the garage, it's a win-win situation. But for the guys who drive their cars, I think the times are such that people are most likely willing to drive automatic cars. Manual has become like the afterthought after you have to do something, you have to manipulate the clutch, whatever. But for me, I think that the times are such that the automatic cars are the norm, and most customers will be willing to sacrifice the real experience for the automatic thing. But still, there's that portion of the collectors that would like to have the real thing, manual thing, not fake manual, to collect and to resell after that.
So to sum up this news story, how would you rate the 12Cilindri Manuale as a Ferrari product from 1 to 10?
Yeah, as a Ferrari product, 1 to 10, I would rate it 6. So it's a okay Ferrari product. I think that let's be honest, we haven't considered the grand scheme of the automotive industry as a whole. I think that the thing with manual they come up with is a good proposition and something that can be exploited in various ways in the future. So they come up with the good thing. So I would rate it as a 6. But as a standalone car, which is by most metrics not as good as the baseline car, that would be not a good score.
Yeah, I'm gonna go slightly higher at a 7, just because I think Ferrari has finally realized that manuals are popular and special editions are popular, and this will be fantastic for their profits and profit margins. They're basically charging you double for something that's arguably worse than their current transmission options. So as a Ferrari, from the Ferrari perspective, it's a good move and it's a good car. And let's not forget, this is probably one of two only naturally aspirated V12 cars that don't have some sort of hybrid system. Ironically, the second one is the Puro Sangue, which is a SUV. But if you want a naturally aspirated V12, this is the only car in the world at the moment. Revuelto is V12, but it has the hybrid system and it's four-wheel drive. So if you want the crazy front engine rear wheel drive layout with 800 horsepower V12, this is it. Whether you like the design or not, and we can talk about it all day if the new Flavio Manzoni designed cars look as good as the previous ones. But would you rather own the 12Cilindri Manuale or going back to the 599 real manual?
Definitely 599 real manual. Yeah, because it's a real thing, real deal. Real manual. Uh, those cars definitely from the seller point of view will rise in value. So there's no, I don't think there's question for only that. For these types of cars, as this 12 Cilindri manual, there's a question for me. So I don't know. I wouldn't really bet on it.
Yeah, totally agree on the 599 manual. I'm actually not sure if this is a fair comparison because we've seen some 599 manual sales that are up in the 800,000 900,000 euros. I mean, that car is blowing up at the moment. The values are increasing month to month. So maybe it's not the fairest comparison, but yeah, that car is definitely more special and connected to the driver than the 12 Cilindri. My girlfriend is done listening me talking about cars, so I had to share this with someone. If you like the video, like it. If you don't like it, well, don't watch it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.